broadcasting live from the Albay PIO News Center, providing you the most exclusive news updates from all over the province. This is News at 12. In the local scene, the provincial government of Albay advanced efforts to institutionalize the Municipal Environment and Natural Resources Office (MENRO) during a meeting spearheaded by the Environment and Natural Resources Office on January 13. The meeting was presided over by Provincial Administrator Engineer Raul E. Rizal and gathered key stakeholders to discuss strengthening local environmental governance through the formal establishment of MENRO across local government units. Discussions focused on improving the implementation of environmental policies, enhancing coordination among LGUs, and ensuring more effective management of natural resources at the local level. Officials said institutionalizing MENRO would strengthen Albay's capacity to address environmental challenges while promoting sustainable development. They also emphasized that the move would reinforce disaster risk reduction initiatives and climate resilience efforts in the province. The provincial government reaffirmed its commitment to supporting programs and strengthen environmental management structures and protect Albay's natural resources. In other story, the Albay Provincial Health Office convened a coordination meeting to streamline the province's medical response as Mayon volcano continues to exhibit heightened unrest. The meeting was held following the elevation of the volcano's alert status by the Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology, prompting the Department of Health Bicol to maintain a code-wide alert across all provincial district and municipal hospitals. Acting Albay Provincial Health Officer Dr. Stella B. Sanet led the discussions to ensure health facilities are prepared for possible patient surges and evacuation-related medical needs. Public and private stakeholders participated to align disaster response protocols and improve interagency coordination. Participants included the Department of Health Bicol Center for Health Development, the Provincial Department of Health Office, the Bicol Regional Hospital and Medical Center, the Philippine Red Cross, Mercury Drug, private health institutions, and provincial government-managed hospitals. Health officials reported the prepositioning of essential medicines, protective equipment, and medical supplies to address health risks from asphalt and possible pyroclastic density currents. Authorities also urged the public to strictly follow health and safety advisories as volcanic activity remains elevated. The Provincial Health Office said it remains on full alert to ensure the resilience and readiness of Albay's healthcare system amid the continuing threat posed by Mayon volcano. In other news, the Albay Provincial Health Office is urging evacuees and facility managers to strictly maintain clean and sanitary toilets in evacuation centers to prevent the spread of diseases. Health officials stress that proper toilet use and maintenance are critical to protecting the health of families staying in crowded evacuation facilities. The office reminded evacuees to wash their hands with soap and clean water after using toilets to reduce the risk of infection. Regular cleaning, disinfection, and flushing of toilets after every use were also emphasized as essential sanitation practices. The Provincial Health Office said the provision of trash bins and sufficient water supply is necessary to support hygiene and safeguard community well-being in evacuation centers. In the national scene, The Bureau of Immigration reported 15.6 million passenger arrivals in the Philippines in 2025, a 6% increase from 2024. Immigration Deputy Spokesperson Melvin Mabulak said 6.7 million of the total arrivals were foreign travelers from various parts of the world. He said the Bureau has adapted advanced technology and deployed more personnel at airports to ensure faster processing and stronger border security. Mabulak added that technology is also being used for early detection of security and public health threats amid the rising number of travelers. He attributed the increase in arrivals to the modernization of the Ninoy Aquino International Airport, including the installation of new e-gates at Terminal 1 and 3. The Bureau said it continues to monitor transnational crimes and overstaying foreigners through 24/7 nationwide CCTV surveillance. In other story, Interior and Local Government Secretary John Vic Remulla said authorities are investigating alleged long-standing corruption in the Bureau of Fire Protection (BFP), involving bribery, collusion, and suppliers and irregular procurement worth billions of pesos. Remulla cited a case in Quezon City where a fire inspector allegedly coerced developers into buying fire extinguishers worth about 30 million pesos at prices up to 200% above the market value in exchange for a certificate of fire compliance. He also said charges are being prepared against at least 20 senior BFP officials over alleged bid rigging in fire truck procurement, claiming bidding rules were designed to favor a limited group of suppliers. Remulla estimated corruption within the BFP could reach 15 billion pesos a year and alleged the existence of a pay-to-enter scheme requiring aspiring personnel to pay up to 500,000 pesos to join the service. He said several officials are under investigation and reforms are underway, including the deployment of 14,000 body cameras for inspectors nationwide and the filing of cases before the Ombudsman. In other news, a Laguna court has issued an arrest warrant against businessman Charlie Atong Ang over his alleged role in the disappearance of numerous sabongeros. Ang faces kidnapping with homicide and kidnapping charges before regional trial courts in Lipa City, Batangas, and Santa Cruz and San Pablo, Laguna. The Santa Cruz RTC Branch 26 issued a non-bailable arrest warrant on January 13, 2026, authorizing any law enforcement officer to execute it. Presiding Judge Mary Jean Kahandab Ong directed officers to use at least one body-worn camera and one alternative recording device during the arrest, in line with Supreme Court rules. The case stems from whistleblower Julie Dondon Patidongan's allegations that Ang orchestrated the killings of up to 100 individuals linked to match fixing in the online cockfighting industry. And in the news outside the country, Denmark and Greenland's leaders presented a united stance against U.S. President Donald Trump's call for the United States to take over Greenland, stressing that the Arctic territory is part of the Kingdom of Denmark and protected under North Atlantic Treaty Organization, or NATO. Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen and Greenland Prime Minister Jens Frederik Nielsen warned that any attempt by the United States to seize or force the cessation of Greenland would seriously damage the transatlantic alliance. The show of unity came ahead of talks in Washington, where Danish and Greenlandic foreign ministers are set to meet U.S. officials to discuss the issue. Trump has repeatedly said the United States needs to acquire Greenland for strategic reasons, while Danish officials maintain the territory is not for sale and remain open to expanded military cooperation. Greenland officials said residents are increasingly anxious about the situation, citing growing fears and uncertainty amid heightened geopolitical tensions in the Arctic. Danish authorities also emphasized their continued support for the United States and NATO, while Greenland leaders stressed that any decision on the territory's future should involve the consent of its people. In other story, Russia launched more than 24 missiles and hundreds of drones at Ukraine early Tuesday, killing 4 people and hitting another power plant, further straining the country's fragile energy system. In the Kharkiv region, firefighters battled a blaze at a postal hub while rescue workers aided survivors in freezing temperatures, according to an AFP journalist on the scene. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said hundreds of thousands of households near Kyiv were left without power and called on allies to strengthen Ukraine's air defense capabilities. DTEK, Ukraine's largest energy provider, reported that one of its power plants was struck, marking the 8th attack on the company's facilities since October and over 220 strikes on energy infrastructure since 2022. The bombardment also hit other regions, including Odessa and Kharkiv, damaging residential buildings, hospitals, and a kindergarten, while Kyiv and regional authorities implemented emergency power cuts amid freezing winter temperatures. And finally, in the news outside the country, with reference to the Philippines. The Philippines signed its first free trade agreement in the Middle East on Tuesday, finalizing a comprehensive economic partnership agreement, CEPA, with the United Arab Emirates, UAE. Under the pact, about 95% of Philippine exports to the UAE will receive preferential tariff treatment, boosting opportunities for manufacturers and creating potential jobs domestically. Key sectors expected to benefit include personal care and cosmetics, food products, electronics, automotive and aircraft parts, and textile apparel goods, while service industries such as IT, BPM, construction, retail, and tourism will gain clearer business rules. Trade Secretary Christina Roque and UAE Minister Thani bin Ahmed Al Siyudi signed the agreement in the presence of Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. and UAE President Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan. The agreement also promotes cooperation in digital trade, MSMEs, sustainable development, intellectual property, competition and consumer protection, government procurement, and economic and technical collaboration. Marcos, the first Philippine president to visit the UAE since 2008, also held business meetings, engaged with the nearly 1 million strong Filipino community, and witnessed the signing of a memorandum of understanding on defense cooperation. And that's all for the news at 12, January 15, 2026. We'll be back tomorrow for more news updates. And thanks to our news writer, LJ Lorejo and Naomi Ruth Hernandez. And on the technical side, Ted Bodis. And our Provincial Information Officer, OIZ, Marty Gonzalez. And under the supervision of our Governor Noel E. Rizal, I am Greg Hallare. Thank you for subscribing. Albay in my heart.